Your console does not need a disk drive to run an amazing video game, but it does need to be a viable platform in order to publish one.
X! Oh my god, it's an X!
Yes, that's it, 32X!
While reviewing every US Sega Saturn game by order of release date, we took a look at Rayman. It's a visually stunning, sprite-based platformer with excellent gameplay, an insane color palette, and equally insane difficulty. As I mentioned in the Rayman episode, it was first in development for the Super Nintendo. Then Ubisoft decided Mr. Floaty Limbs Man needs to be graced with 5th Gen wonder. It came out for the Jaguar, Saturn, PlayStation, and eventually PC. All are quality ports, with several minor differences. In March of 1995, months before any version of Rayman came out, GamePro said it was also going to come out for the Sega 32X.
Just stick it in your Genesis.
That's the cartridge-based Genesis add-on, meant to give the 16-bit console some 3D graphic capabilities, tiding fans over until the Saturn came out. It only lasted about a year. It was not commercially successful. The Rayman port never came out. It's remembered as a canceled game. All these years later, no prototype or build of this fabled 32X port ever surfaced. It's commonly believed this port was never developed, saying there is no evidence it ever existed. While reviewing World Series Baseball, I was going through the Tronix E3 video to get some footage of the game's early build. This nearly 2-hour-long video documents parts of the show floor, most of its gameplay. This was taped on or within a few days after May 11th, 1995, and right after the World Series Baseball footage, my attention was captured by this bright yellow sign. It's Rayman for the Genesis 32X. The cameraman pans down to the monitor showing gameplay. It appears someone there is actively playing it, but no person or console is ever shown in this video. This appears to be the second part of the Swamps of Forgetfulness. Whenever the player dies, the screen freezes for a moment, then Rayman respawns with no transition. That's a sure sign of this being an early build. Whoever is playing appears to have tried jumping on the bad guy's head to kill it, before realizing that's not how it works in Rayman. Then they smash the fruit up top to make it land on the bad dude's head. You can see, unlike the Jaguar version, this 32X footage shows a different background. As opposed to the happy daytime environment, this is darker and swampy looking, similar to what's seen in the Saturn version. Still slightly different from that too. Note that unlike both the Saturn and Jaguar ports, this 32X footage shows just one enemy on the series of platforms. The final game has enemies and fruits on all of them. On 32X, piranhas jump out of the water between platforms 3 and 4. That's not seen in the final build. Unfortunately, this is where the Tronix video cuts to a different game at the E3 show floor. As for audio, well, it's all crowd noise. You can't hear any sounds come from the game. There's also a short text description on the sign, but the footage is not good enough to be able to read any of it. I imagine this port's sound would have been similar to the Jaguar port, since both are cartridge-based. Overall, the graphics and sprite work look pretty similar. I haven't been able to find anyone else online talk about this footage. The 2-hour Tronix video has been on YouTube since June of 2019, and has technically existed for 25 years. No one I found who dug into this mysterious 32X port has ever said anything about this footage, and I don't blame them either. I only stumbled into this because of sheer luck, so there you have it. Evidence showing a build for Rayman 32X was made at some point in time. It was more than just a planned release. Action was taken to actually make something for it. Myth busted! So why was it canceled? The general assumption is pretty simple. The 32X wasn't popular enough. This is very likely why it was canceled. Rayman's first release on the Jaguar came at a time when that Genesis add-on was at the end of its short life.
Are you 32Xing yet?
I tried digging into the exact reason for its cancellation. On October 5th, 1995, the senior editor for GameWire PC, Jason Ungwer, posted this on Usenet. It's a teaser for their next issue, showing they interviewed Ubisoft. Readers will find out, quote, what happened to the 32X and 3DO versions of Rayman. Unfortunately, this is an obscure electronic magazine that I cannot find on websites like archive.org and RetroCDN. People who wanted to subscribe had to send a request to their AOL email to get free issues. Their website is obviously dead. It's been 25 years. I tried reaching out to people named Jason Ungwer, and so far, everybody who responded said they're not the same Jason. Presumably, the answer for why it was canceled is out there. Someone got the answer and published it. The sad thing is, said publication might have been erased from history. All we have left behind is this Usenet post, teasing both prospective subscribers of 1995 and weird nerds on the internet 25 years in the future. Big shout out to Joe Cataudella, or Cataudella, I don't know how to pronounce your name, for documenting E3 all those years ago. I don't know where you're at now, but thanks for doing that. Hopefully someone out there drops an early build of Rayman 32X. It would be great to see just how far Ubisoft got in developing this port. Thanks for watching this bonus episode. I'll post a link to that Tronix E3 video in the description with the time code.
No, we can't release this.